A warm welcome back to the Forensic Detailing channel, guys. How are you all doing? Do not forget, as always, to subscribe. So I'm just going to bring you in on some live preparation for testing now, because I need to get started on this year's kind of 2025 best detailer, contest or whatever you want to call it. And we've got here 34 detail sprays, 34 detail sprays. Now, we could add more, we could keep going. The problem we've got, as always, is there's over 500 potential products, maybe even 1,000 potential detail sprays that you could put in there. I've listened to recommendations and stuff and requests and put this out to Patreon as well. We have a chat group running on the best detail spray, and I've tried to include some some requests on what to put in there, and I've tried to get a good broad coverage of different products, like big label brands, very expensive products, trade products at the back there, a whole smorgasbord, getting in everything that's hot for most of the brands. So we always get our G-Technic, Car Pro and Geon in there, the three big kind of coating companies. We've got Maguire's, Auto Glim, we've got a Turtle Wax product somewhere in there, haven't we? Yeah, we've got the Flex Wax. Someone said that had been discontinued. If it has, you're always going to get that. I don't know. I think you can still buy it. Yeah, I think you can. Got the Griots, we got Auto Glim. What I want to do in this video is break this down into the different heats, because trying to test all of these products in one test just becomes, you start to lose the ability to separate them and see the woods from the trees. And I've only really got one flat test panel like this, a black one now. I could, and if I start trying to separate that into 34 squares and the bonnet into 34 squares, it's difficult. So what I'm going to do is break it down into 4 heats, probably 2 heats of 9 and 2 heats of 8 products. Just at the early stages of this testing, we're always going to be doing price comparisons, and price comparisons, how you do them can affect, the results and where they rank. For example, or the problem is, lots of these products are available in different size offerings. So we've got like a bulk offering there, that's 5 litres, and then we're comparing that to like retail size offering prices, which complicates it. So then you could say, well, factor in bulk prices, but then some products don't have a bulk price, so which don't have a bulk offering. So whichever way you do it, there's never a perfect solution. So I try and take a simplified approach that 99% of people will be buying retail size. So I go on the assumption that I do price per litre of nearest 500ml retail size offerings rather than smallest size offering, because some brands offer you like 100ml sample or 250ml sample. So if you took those, they're even more expensive. It scales it. So I figured over the years that the best way to do it is that, unless you're doing a specific bulk kind of trade comparison of 5 litre prices. So that's how we'll do it. And then that way you just caveat that a product like the Auto Smart, you cannot buy it, in a 500ml offering. Some people decant it, like guys that buy this and sell it on eBay, but that's not going to count. So that's its smallest size offering as far as I'm aware, but it does get an advantage. But then one product, it's going to do well on price anyway. So yeah, let's move on. So we'll do our price per litre comparison based on nearest 500ml offering size, which is a reasonably decent standard. Now, what I want to try and do is each of our 4 heats, I want to break up into a mixed bag, rather than, for example, put in all of like the big brands like the Turtle Wax, Auto Glim, Sonax, Koch, for example, in one heat. I want to spread it so that each heat has a mixture of kind of smaller brands, different flavors. So it's an interesting heat, and we'll try and do that now. So we'll just start. We'll start with trying to separate these. So if we just take those big brand ones, for example, Maguire's, Auto Glim. There's another problem as well. Here's another problem, and this is a off-the-cuff video. Historically, I've said in my tests, only one offering from each brand in the test, and I'm breaking the rule on this because, for example, I've got Chemical Guys. I bought this and I thought, you know, I wanted to do a video on this, but I've got it sitting around. I've got that, and I've got another Chemical Guys product somewhere. There it is, like the ceramic spray there. I've got the Sonax ceramic thing we did a video on the other day, but I realised we couldn't really do a detail spray thing without having BSD in there, because there'll just be 500 comments saying, what, no BSD? I've got the Auto Glim aqua beads there and their ceramic spray. So that's breaking a rule. So sometimes you just have to just tell people you're breaking a rule, and then just people will say, well, that might be unfair, and you just say, yeah, there are limitations. These tests aren't always flawless, and that's what this video is for. So let me know your thoughts on that. But by not putting two products in the same heat, then I figure each heat, at least, everyone's got an even crack at the whip. And ultimately, even if there's two from one brand, you could still beat those two, but they're at a slight advantage, aren't they? Because they get two cracks of the whip. The other thing that I was going to say is that's causing me a slight problem is this video. What is it? Which is a very fundamental question to ask. Well, it's a detail spray comparison, but then some of these products transcend that border between detail spray and spray sealant. And I'm looking at the Chemical Guys Hybrid V7, which is kind of more marketed as an optical high gloss spray sealant. I'm not sure it is, but that's what it's marketed as. And like the Auto Glim Rapid Ceramic Spray, when they've got like a detailer. So we don't always pick the most appropriate option, because sometimes there's a limit to what you can buy and what you can do. And yeah, all of these detail sprays added up probably cost the best part of £800 to £1,000 to procure. You know, that's coming out of my wallet, and you have to draw the line at some point. So again, this video, it will be run over the course of about 6 months in 4 different heats. We'll try and do it a bit quicker than that. It doesn't take that long. I'll tell you another problem in a second. So we have to procure them, and there is a limit when you're procuring these to how much you can do. Because as you hear me say time and time again, these particular tests will not make money. They won't. They cost money and time to do, which is fine because it's part of what the channel does. But yeah, it's a bit of a bugbear, because in an ideal world, you'd do this test, it would make loads of money, and you'll just swallow the cost. But really, realistically, we're going to be, each 4 video will do 10 to 20,000 views and maybe make 50 to £100. So we might get about 400 quid back. We will use affiliate links in the description, which helps boost the affiliate revenue. But again, if you make £100 say on a video, you might make £50 back in affiliate revenue, but not even that actually. So ultimately, this will be in the red, this video. So that's part of that's my problem, and we do try and make these profitable. Doing accompanying content around it helps as well. So even this video can help, because people might be really interested in all of this thought process around doing product reviews. It's not quite as easy to do as you think. There's all sorts of flaws, isn't there? What was the other problem? The other problem, I can't remember. Yeah, we covered, oh yeah, the fact that they're not all quick detailers. Some of them might be spray waxes or, you know, whatever. We've tried to get a mixture of high end and low end. So let's just carry on with our, separating these. So I think it's fair to say that perhaps these 4 brands, Turtle Wax, Auto Glim, Meguiar's, Sonex, might be like the big 4, might be in terms of like global sales and something like that. So we've got those separated there to start with, which is going to help us. It'd be lovely, wouldn't it, if I had 3 other bulk offerings of detail sprays. That would balance it up nicely, but that's going to add, on the 5 litre price, that's going to add considerable cost to this. And I'm just trying to think if there's a prolific bulk offering that should be in this test, but really the Auto Smart one is good. The Technician's Choice would be a great other bulk one. I know that's really popular in America, but it just isn't available here. It's not viable in the UK. I would have that in if I was a more American kind of based channel, because I think I love, you know, when products like that, where you get a ceramic detail spray come out as a bulk offering and it's really affordable, and you compare prices to all these, and it just blows them out of the water, and it's a good product. And then all the people, like all the professional detailers, will use it. But there is also that sentiment that most of the people that watch this are guys at home that just like a bottle of detail spray, and a bottle of detail spray might last you 6 months. So a lot of guys don't want to go and buy 5 litres of it because they can't get through it all, which is something you've told me. So yeah, it's more retail-y, this. So I'm just going to stagger. If I stagger my big brand offerings, so I'll take my other Auto Glim, I'll take my other chemical guys we need to think about. We'll stagger this so that we're not doubling up on any one brand in any one test. We need to get our chemical guys in there because they're a big brand as well. We need to spread those, so we'll get chemical guys there, and we'll put chemical guys over here. This is going to be interesting. So we're building our lineup now. Now let's take our 3 ceramic coating specialist companies, if you like, G-Technic, CarPro, and Geon. Now let's spread those across. Let's just do this very simply. 1, 2, 3. I think this CarPro release will be interesting. I know a lot of you will say, well, what about Elixir and all that? Well, I just happened to have this. I bought it just to try it, and we did a review on it. So, you know, it's there. Again, you could go and, have Geon got a ceramic quick detailer? G-Technic got a ceramic detailer. Geon, that's their ceramic detailer, but they got a non-ceramic detailer. Is that giving an advantage because it's ceramic? I don't know. Again, there'll always be these little discrepancies that are very hard to factor in. So I'm just spotting that built Hamber one there. This is almost like a bulk offering because you don't want to use this like neat, in my opinion. You don't really even want to use it 1-to-1. It's really powerful. Like, it's such a strong concentrated product. I find at 1-to-9 with DI water. So this little bottle makes me 5 litres. So this is effectively a bit like the rapid glaze. So that's almost like a bulk offering, that one there in that little bottle. It is interesting though, isn't it? Because then that is so packed with active ingredients and less water, because you've got to bulk it down like a factor of 1-to-9 really. Or if you use it like I do, or maybe 1-to-5 if you want a bit more punch. I like it less punchy actually. Oh, we've got the classic bead maker in here as well, which isn't a detail spray really. It's marketed as the kind of paint protection, long-lasting shine, highly hydrophobic. Some of those product claims, even if you look at their label there with showing that it's probably a real shot of the product in action, those beads aren't great. It's moderately hydrophobic at best. But anyway, we'll put that test to the claim. This is a nice new fresh bottle as well. Very interesting product, isn't it? One of few spray-on products that's managed to go kind of viral and do really good sales and all that all around the world. Probably as a result of, I don't know, just as a result of people wanting to try stuff and it having party tricks. So the party trick of this is the lovely slickness that it puts down when you use it. And it's really nice. It gives you that satisfaction, that just waxed look. It's really good in that sense. But it's not the perfect material by any means to protect a car with. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Yeah, so now we're getting through perhaps to smaller products that we may have heard of. This Tack Shiny Wax, this won one of my detail sprays back in the day because I think it does everything really well and it's affordable as well. I haven't got the price data in my head with this, but I remember it being quite cheap. Beads really well. It's just like a really good all-round water-based wax, as they describe it. But is it a wax? I don't know. Is it a wax emulsion? Not so sure it is, but who knows? So there, we're building up heats now. I think I'll probably try and... This Koch, I wanted one from Koch, not the FSE, because that's more a descaler. And that came, I think that came with... Did it come with this? Oh, I have to just recall. Oh no, it didn't. Did it come? It might not come with a trigger. Just need to be careful, make sure that I'm giving the correct triggers. Have I got any triggers kicking around in there? Oh yeah, I have, yeah. Hold on. Triggers, I knew I was down a few triggers. So I just need to be careful. I mate up the correct triggers with the correct products. And I had done that, and now I've forgotten what I'd done. So we'll sort that out in a bit. Let's just worry about getting them in the right place for the time being. That's bugging me now. Let's put the Stana Gloss over here. This is their silky high gloss detailing spray. Very nice looking, clean design that is, isn't it? Nice. Stands out a little bit from the crowd with the good design. I think good design is important. I'm not sure if I'll factor it in on this test, but it is important. Most of them are pretty good. I don't want to pick on any. I was just going through and seeing if I could pick any that look a little bit less desirable. That looks a little bit less desirable for me. I don't know. That's the Michelin King one. A lot of you wanted this in. A lot of my patrons asked for this one, so I bought it. It took 10 days to turn up, which is a bit slow. Perhaps that looks slightly less desirable, but I probably won't go too much into that. People tend to reject that side of it. I think perhaps you're always better off doing a section perhaps called user experience, where you factor in the quality of the instructions. Has it got health and safety on it? How good are the instructions? How good is the product described? And you could factor in the triggers and the packaging with that as well, because there is a difference. There's a big difference in the price of triggers and bottles. So much so that it can become a bigger factor, and label printing, than the actual product itself. So a cheap trigger that spits and all that, versus a really good trigger. For example, I think this is a really good trigger. It's like a bespoke Sonax trigger, I think. Whatever they've done there, they've got some deal with a trigger maker, or they make it themselves. Or even like a Vela trigger. That, whenever I see one of those, that's top drawer. And then these triggers, for example, I don't dig so much. I know they're all right, but they're a bit budget. It's a Tolco. They're okay, but they dribble. I've been doing it so long, I know all the good triggers. These are a solid offering, these triggers. I don't know what they're called. I do know the name, actually. There's a code, isn't there, for them? I can't remember. Nice blue Vela trigger there. That's cool. And then like the very creme de la creme, these little pump sprayer things that are like rattle cans. They're so good. And they cost an arm and a leg. But mind you, that product costs an arm and a leg. So yeah, trigger. So we can do that. We can do that kind of quality thing, if you like. I think we should. That takes time, unfortunately. Let's continue to build up our lineup. So this is almost like a more tradey. If ever you see this line rather than the blue bottle line, this grey with a stripe across it, that's more their professional line than their consumer line. And I think that's where the money's at with Koch. These are their best products, I think, personally. So we'll put that there. So we're balancing up our more trade pro bulk ones. One bulk, one bulk, one bulk. I don't think we've got anything else that categorises it. But I would say the closest would be the Demon Shine, because that's still a really affordable product that a lot of people use. Interesting product, that is. No one ever speaks badly about it, typically. But some people say it's a bit cheap and nasty. But I personally think, and I know a lot of people think, that it just does a good job of delivering a shine to your paint. And I also think even though the marketing of it, the demon thing, it's all a bit tacky. It's all a bit kind of, it's all a bit Mr. Muscle. I think they're really conservative. Like, you're going to get more than 10 shines out of that bottle. You're going to get like 40 shines. I don't know. Whatever. You'd have to be hurling it on. But that product does deliver quite well on its product claims, because we've been talking about it for a long time on the channel. Yeah, so that's for the guy that thinks this is all nonsense, and it's like, just give me a shiny thing on my car that doesn't streak up and just shines up the car. Well, that might be a really strong offering. What it doesn't do is it doesn't last. It doesn't last. It doesn't have good weathering resistance like when it's out in your car. But yes, should it? I'm sure. Well, they've got Carplan have got like sealants, spray sealants, which can last, so they can do that. But that's not. This is a cheap spray and shine, basically. Quite like Demon Shine. This one is I've never used anything from Alchemy. Again, I think it's very well presented. It gets away, that white and black gets away with that trigger. It's got quite a functional look. I'm getting a bit of peelage there, which can happen, especially on a big label like that. But that's that brand, whoever's it is, they've thought about design with that and sugarcoat. It's quite snappy. So I'm hoping for, this is going to surprise me. It's going to be a really good product, but I just don't know. The danger for any detail spray in this comparison is that it gets lost in the herd. That moves me on to a really important point about how you test these. When you do performance testing and you test, like, gloss is fair play. We will test gloss, and it's limited because of how much testing we can do, but you want to test gloss, and you'd want to take all these pre-readings, post-readings, pump all that data out, and you learn something, even if it's limited. But when you start testing durability with detail sprays, you introduce something which might not be on the agenda of the people that have formulated this. They formulated it not to be durable. They formulated it to tidy up fingerprints, to wipe off dust, just give your car a quick shine over, maybe to be an all-rounder, a glossing agent, a lube, clay lube and all that. And then when you test on durability, they're looking at it thinking, that's not fair, we're losing loads of marks here, but we've got a durable product. But again, it's just the nature of the beast. I think you have to put that test in, and then, like, when you present all your results, people can filter that out if they don't look at it. So that's always a good caveat on these tests, that, if we give you all the data, when we show beading as well, for example, you might not be interested in that, or you might want a sheeter. Well, you could take all the data and reverse the beading order and go for the ones that are less beady because you want more of a sheeting action. So we will give you the data on all this, and I'll try and collate it. I'm loathed to promise this, but I'll try and put it into a spreadsheet this time and publish that somewhere. So it's all there. I'll try. I have got a spreadsheet provisionally created, but I've got to plug all this stuff into it. Creating it on a spreadsheet is a pain. I've tried it before in the early days of the channel with a little laptop here. It slows you down no end. A bit of paper is just infinitely better. So, but if I'd use paper, then I've got to put it all into the spreadsheet at the end. And once I've done the video, I'm always like, yeah, I want to go on to the next one, rather than sit in my bloody office plugging in data. Yeah, so let's rank this in. Let's slot this in. So where are we? Yeah, we'll go here with that one. So we'll backfill. We've got 5, 5, 5, 4. And we'll put our Zano. Again, one that's a spray sealant. We've had this on ages ago. I think this is from what I remember of it, it's a bit like the Hybrid V7. It's not a great spray sealant, but it's a lovely glossing agent if memory serves me correctly. And this used to be one of the things that everyone used to rave about back in the day. Someone was asking me about Zano, saying, can you do more stuff with Zano? Show us this on Zano. And I just replied back to him reasonably bluntly, but, just giving you my thoughts. No, we've covered their kind of prolific products over the years. And that brand, I don't know what's going on, a bit like Colonite. They just stopped as a brand, and there's no hype, there's no new product development, there's no one talking about Zano. I could be wrong, but for me, it's almost like that brand has given up, and they've still got that line, which was really highly regarded from about 10, 15 years ago, back in the day when they, they were one of the first kind of smaller brands to get a really good name for themselves. So maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like they've given up the ghost. So when you give up the ghost, my job is to go where it's hot. Explore where it's hot, and they're not hot at the moment. But if you disagree, put that in the comments. Each brand will vehemently disagree whenever you make critical statements like that. The brands do not appreciate it, but this is the job of someone doing this type of review, and every single reviewer will go through a thought process when you're doing a massive comparison test like this about putting in what's hot. And the pedigree of the brand over the last few years. A bit like when you're picking international football players, you've got to pick them on current form. Or do you? Because we've got some stalwarts in there. You could say Sonex BSD isn't a relevant product now, but it is. And so many people still talk about it. So, yeah. What else have we got here? This one here. This is a really good detail spray, isn't it? A really good all-rounder. Just getting some crustiness on some of the material, just drying where it ends there and staining the bottle. Does that come off when you give it a good shake? Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of companies won't put a see-through bottle on because if you ever get bits in it and stuff like that, people take it as a negative when it can be all right. But yeah, it's just a little staining crust around that. That, I think, belongs to that spray trigger. I'll have to double check all that. Pain, that's another job that I've got to remember to do. So what we'll do is we'll put, that's a good all-rounder. I think we'll chuck that in this category over here. So we're up to 6 now. 5, 5, 5. Infinity Wax Rapid Detail. It used to be called RDS, didn't it? Again, I remember back in the day when I first started the channel, this was around, and I thought it was a really good detailer. It was cheap, or not mega cheap, but really good value, but really good all-rounder again. Yeah, decent amount of protection, yeah, and hydrophobics, just a good detail spray. Yeah, I'll tell you my thoughts on this as well. I think, you hear me criticise American products because I don't think their surfactants are very good. I think their surfactants are poor by European standards. But I think the Americans have an edge with their products and their spray waxes. And they've got really good spray waxes and really good emulsions as well. And they wherever they're made, they've got a knack of making really nice water-based emulsions and detail sprays. There's some real good formulations out in America. Especially with detail sprays, and this always reminded me, this is a Scottish made kind of product by Infinity Wax, but it reminded me like of the quality of a really good American kind of detail spray where it doesn't streak on you, it's really nice to use. Yeah, just good product. Let's put that over here. I sort of think of it a bit like the tack. It's a bit like that. It's a good all-rounder. Not quite as potent as a sealant as the tack one, from what I remember. So we're getting there, guys. Carbon Collective, I haven't used this one. They're a very good brand, Carbon Collective. They're like just behind, in my opinion, the big three, in terms of ceramic coatings, but they've been around a long time. They brand very well. Yeah, and the product formulations are usually pretty good. Yes, I don't know. I remember that normal detail spray was fine, but it didn't have much of the protective qualities to it, which was fine. But this I'm expecting as a ceramic detailer. It's bridging the gap between a spray sealant and a detail spray. So I want some beadage. I want some slickness. I want some of that SIO slickness. I want a bit more durability from it. I want to see a bit more punch from it. So there's no excuse if this doesn't deliver. I can't remember. Carbon Collective products aren't cheap. typically, although they're not that bad. This just depends, but they're not typically not cheap, are they? So where should that go in our lineup? I think we'll just keep filtering down, pop that in there. We'll have a final sanity check, but we're getting there, guys. Angel Wax QED, very good all-rounder as well. This, I think, came very highly in one of the first detail spray comparison videos I did 10 years ago, where we took an absolute ton of them. And this was, I think it was like $7.99 or $8.99 back then. It was, and the bulk price on it was really good. And I may have even factored in bulk pricing back then. I used to, I may have done, or I may not have done. Who knows? Go and watch the video. But that, I think, come up in the top 3 somewhere. Can it repeat that? I didn't have gloss meter back then. Don't think I did so much kind of testing of durability so much. So maybe, we're a bit more comprehensive with our testing, a bit more methodical with our testing and our categories now, which gives more precision, I think, to it, rather than less gut instinct and less, I like that one. Yeah, so where will that fare? I don't know. It might get lost in the herd. Don't know what the price is nowadays. This one, Fein Lab, another brand, I think, that are trying to make inroads into that ceramic coating kind of market. But you can tell from the branding of that these guys mean business. That is a very nice label, properly put down, no creases. It's just very nice, that is. Whoever designed that label, that's been professionally designed. Lots of good marketing cues on there about what it does. It gives you a reason to buy the thing. Self-cleaning, hydrophobic, extended lifetimes. You see those things, I'll give that a go. And it's missing on so many products. So what's it like? No idea. I bet you it'll be quite good. Where does it sit? Is it more detail? Is it more spray sealant? Can it go on streak free? Professional perfected. Yeah, so that could be a good product. I don't think it's expensive. So yeah, where should that sit? Well, I think we should just filter it in. So we're at 6, 6, 6, 6. So let's just filter down, and we'll see. Like I say, we might do some little switching. We might do some kid and play switching on the lineups if I just feel there's a reason to do so. It won't matter too much, really, will it? Because the testing we're going to be putting these products through is going to be consistent, even across testing. So there will be some value in cross comparison, but the problem with cross comparison across different testing is testing inaccuracies, mainly around the preppage of this panel. And I'll go straight into another video. I'll do a live prep on this panel. And so you can see kind of what I do to prepare the panel, but you can get a rough idea. I stick with that standard now. I was thinking of switching the standard up from less of a cutting compound and a cutting pad, because that is an aggressive system. That's not going to deliver you a final finish. It's there to cut. Should you not just deliver a final finish, like a really good finish on this panel, then test it. But what I find is that because you bring the gloss of that panel, the physical gloss, up to the max, it inhibits your ability to see what gloss can be added to your average kind of weathered car panel. And there's more value in allowing these products to add gloss. The counter argument to that is you're favouring filling effect for clarity, on products which again might not be formulated for that, but it gets so complicated. So should you take a middle ground and use a medium cut and a wool pad? You could do, but I've just, again, over the years, and this all stems back to when I was testing with Autoglim, and that I remember one of their lab people saying to me, they pre-recorded the panels for pre-gloss, and I was like, why are you doing that? We're just interested in the end results. It's because there's differences in all their test panels. So it's like you'll be at an advantage if you have a really low gloss potentially starting point, and one that's a really shiny test panel that's at high gloss. So they tried to get them consistent, although I don't think we cut all the panels prior to doing the testing. I can't remember. They prepped them all. But yeah, there can be advantages. And I could do a whole video on gloss testing because I've been doing it a while. And what I will say to you as a quick thing on gloss testing is the more gloss testing you can do. So if I could ideally do this test 10 times on at least 10 different test panels that are prepped in 10 different ways, or 3 or 4 different ways with even different based colors, the more you do, the better and the more reliable your results are. When you do one, I've noticed, unfortunately, you could do the test again and maybe get different results. But again, we've told you this. We tell you all this stuff. This is what makes it real, rather than just the old bull, the old bull. So if we tell you all this, at least you know it invites good. It also invites good critical analysis of the test, which I like hearing, and I've learned over the years from some of your feedback about, well, John, you didn't do that, you didn't do that. And sometimes I'm like, I'll hear that and I'll think, no, you're talking out your derriere, you don't know, that's just nonsense. And then other times I think, Jesus, yeah, that's right, it's a good point. And then I learn from it. So yeah, it's part of improving as a kind of tester. Let's go on with this one. This is a wax-based luxury gloss from Soft 99. Good waxy product. Very old school, but very good. Is that going to get lost in the herd? It did in previous tests. It just got lost in the herd. But yeah, so let's filter that in. 7, 7, 6, 6. So we're getting there. Armour Amplify. I think we've tested this before, haven't we? No, it hasn't got this. It's got a tiny little dried ring. I think we've had this before. This one, yeah, we have had this before. This is a good SiO2 spray, yeah, ceramic one. It's a good detail spray, this, from what I remember. So let's just slot her in. Let's just skip this one. I've nearly used all of this. This is a decent detail spray. I paired this up with Colonite bead coat, and they combo really well, as you expect them to do. You don't know if this is just like a more watery version of bead coat. Probably isn't, because it hasn't got graphene in it. But it's a good ceramic detailer. Will it get lost in the herd because it's not cheap? It may well do. It may well do, unfortunately. It's just the nature of the beast. It's very likely that the winner is going to be the product which delivers you value for money, because it's going to get off to a good start, which has a really good user experience, good labelling, good product instructions. It's well packaged with high quality sprayers, but it's done well on value. So they're giving you high quality product where they thought about the presentation and the sprayer and the instructions and met all of their obligations around health and safety and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, but then it's also going to have to be slick, glossy, beady, hydrophobic, and durable as well. So it gives you the full smorgasbord. That's going to be the winner. Have I got any preconceived thoughts on which ones can do that? Yes, I have. You can't help. I've tested virtually all of these products before. So I have got preconceived thoughts. It'll be a more affordable product with really good performance. Straight away, I'm looking at that one and I know that's affordable and it's got really good performance. And then straight away, I'm looking at that and I know that it's going to bead and be durable, reasonably cost effective, but it's not slick. It's not easy to use. As far as detail sprays go, it's thick. Most of you mix it down with water to try and thin it a little bit. So things like that, The all-rounder will be it. That's not an all-rounder, so that's going to lose marks in hydrophobicity and durability. So is that going to win? Well, it's less unlikely. It's less likely, sorry. Let's put a real nice high-end one. Let's throw that in the pack. Have we got other high-end products? Well, this is the king of high-end products. Let's put that down here. I think that's a good place for it to go. Let's keep going. Auto Finesse, another big brand. I don't think we've done Glisten before. We've done some of their spray products. I don't think we've done Glisten. You could argue this is more of a spray wax, like it says. Yeah, it's a spray and shine, you know. So it's fine to be in this test, but you could argue they've got a detail spray. I can't remember what it's called. What's it called? Maybe that should be in there. But we've done that one before. And to be fair, actually, I didn't really rate that. But I don't know. It's a long, long time ago. I always try and get an Auto Finesse in there. I think they've got some good products. And again, I think they're a brand that are big because they're on it. They're on it. And you know what I mean by being on it? They're on it. Zano aren't on it. Auto Finesse are on it. They're doing stuff. They go to shows. They make content on social media. They're on it. They're car people. They love detailing. And that creates an interest, and you get lots of the scene people using Auto Finesse products. That's a brilliant thing. So that means I want their products in my tests. When they're not on it, you know, as a brand, it might be a different brand, then I'm less likely to have it in there. These are all good products. This is a great, this is a good all-rounder, isn't it? This one, very powerful, very durable, but yes, can be a bit fiddly to apply. A little bit fiddly. Yeah, it might be what you're putting it on top of, not sure. Might be the fact it's so strong that you just need to be a bit more careful with it. In the UK, it's expensive as well. Really great stuff. In America, as far as I know, it's one of those big label brands. Griots remind me of Autoglim, like a company that have got that kind of heritage kind of approach to it. It's not too glamorous. It's quite an old-fashioned company, but they're liquid products that I've tried, like Best of Show Spray Wax, Best of Show Detailer. They've been absolutely superb, and they've got so much potential over here. But if you look at a brand like Turtle Wax in the UK, they have like a UK division, Turtle Wax UK. They have their Turtle Wax website that they sell from. You know, distributors have taken this on. Jeff from Prestige sells it. And he's not as big as an entity, with no disrespect, as a company like Turtle Wax. So they've set up a UK division to get around the problem of getting the chemicals shipped over here, you know, which you pay all the import on, and it pumps the price up. They've obviously got around that because you can get 5 litres of Seal and Shine for 22 quid. Their products can be incredibly cheap, so they've figured out some way of doing that, and I don't know what they do to get around that, but they deliver you cost-effective products in the UK, but they're an American brand. Griots haven't gone that way, so if you want to use them in the UK, it's fair to say you're going to have to pay quite a lot of money, and you can't shop with the other distributors. You know, it's with Frosts and it's with Prestige Car Care, so you can shop if you're buying all the Adams stuff. I'll try and buy this always off Jeff because he's a top bloke. That's the thing. I haven't got an Adams product in here, but again, it's just coming down to cost. It's coming down to costs. I feel like Adams have gone a bit quiet as well. Maybe they haven't. I don't know. Don't hear much from Adams. They need like an influencer to get behind them and like start talking about their products here in the UK to like just get people remembering about Adams, because they've got some really good products as well. Yeah, they've got some good stuff. Let's put that in then. So let's whack that in there. That'd be good. I'm interested to see how that Griots compares with that Rapid Ceramic Spray, because they're similar types of products. Now we're down to 3, so we're up at 8 there. We're up at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 now. So we'll go with our 9s. Oh, I've got an odd number here, so let's just... Oh yeah, I'm 7 there, so I've got 2 in there, 1 in there. So I'll put this Labo Perfecta, Labo Cosmetica. We've got some label peel there. We have... Yeah, you get a bit of this peely label, but it's one of those double labels that you could double peel back, but it's just coming off. Put the heat. And then it gets a bit fiddly to unpeel and open this thing, and you rip it off the bottle, and the bottle can be a bit wet and covered in things. So the label, I've noticed this with a few Labo things, these bottles which are nice, they can choke out a little bit or crease up. And they've always This company always give you tons. It's in Italian and UK and English. I wonder if their English sales are better than their Italian sales. So their English and UK market are generating them more money. So they're going primarily with English. But yeah, that's an interesting one. You know, what's that going to be like? I can't remember what the price is on that. That might hold it back. They're typically not cheap products, which can hold them back sometimes when I'm doing testing on them. This leaves us down to the last two. Very good product. I've been using that quite a lot. About halfway through that. Yeah, good product. Good product. That it's not too expensive. It's one of these wax emulsions with SiO2 in it. Very nice to use, that is. Wet or dry. Yeah, it's just a good modern detail spray. So I'll slot that in there. So we should be at 9 on that. Let's just slide those forward. Okay, we should be at 9. And then we'll slot that one in here, the Michelin King. What am I expecting from this? I'm expecting this, could be just completely wrong, but I'm expecting this to be a good glossy quick detailer that's easy to use, but it might not be a good protective detailer. It does have its health and safety stuff on there, which is good. The label's a bit DIY. QD is an irritant. Okay, that's a health and safety thing. That's fine. Maybe it's just it looks a bit kind of DIY the way that label's been made. You know, like just, you know, you can see one where there's a design team that have done this label. That is high end, and that just doesn't have that high end feel to that label. To me, don't know. It's got an old school vibe thing going on, but yeah. So will that get lost in the herb? Will that have the protective capabilities to be able to cater for all categories and stay in the hunt? We shall see. So now we need to sanity check, guys. Is there anything fundamentally wrong with these groupings? Have I made a boo-boo with doubling up on brands? No. I think those are the only doubles, aren't they? Maybe another double somewhere. Don't know. No, I think we're good. So here's our lineups. And we shall start. Why don't we just go straight in with that as our first test? 9 products, heat 1, prep our panel today, get these laid out and get cracking with this. Get heat 1 done, heat 2, heat 3, heat 4. That will. How many do we take through from each thing? I think 2. 2 from each test give us a final of 8 products. And then, a winner from that. Or we could do, I think what we should do maybe, what do you think about this? The 2 winners, first and second place, and 1 wild card from all of them. Maybe it's the one after that. Or I think 9 for the final test is good. I can break the panel down that way. 9 is a good thing. Yeah, so we'll have 1 wild card. And maybe when we go off piste like this and start making stuff up, it can be a bit sketchy. But 1 wild card, why not have a wild card? Because I'm thinking I'll pick 8 and they'll be like, oh God, that's just too good not to have in there. And that could be a worthy winner of like the best overall. So I'll have 1 wild card, and maybe that'll be like the 9th place on points, or maybe that'll be a wild card that I just pick. But then, no, that would make it too biased, wouldn't it? So yeah, it would have to be the next one. Yeah, we'll probably do that. There we go. There's our lineup. So I'm excited even for test 1. I'm looking ahead thinking what's going to do well. The Flex Wax isn't that hydrophobic. If they do a deal on it, this can be. I've got 2 of these. I've got another one. They were giving it away. Like they were giving 2 of them away. So I bought both of these, and I've got another bottle. I'll give another bottle away to a patron. Yeah, so this was only like £8, but I can't factor in the discounted price. I've got to go by the retail price from a sensible distribution point. So I use the Turtle Wax website without that discount. So it might be too pricey, which is what's held it back before. It's not that hydrophobic. It's durable for a spray wax, but it's not durable by spray sealant standards. It's somewhere in between. It's meant to be like a versatile all-rounder. I mean, that'll be in with his chance. This might be too niche, but it's incredibly cheap, this product. I just thought Carpro had messed up the price when I saw this. It was like £5. It's like, what? Should be like £12 or something. That's what most of them are nowadays. That's very good. That might be too much of a one-trick pony, but it might be in with a shout. Who knows? That could be in with a shout. That could be in with a shout, but I think it's going to be too expensive. That's going to have, if that has really good performance and it's not too expensive, it might be in with a shout. That's probably in with a shout. I'm just thinking of test one. Who knows, mate? We'll run them through the grinder. We'll run them through the tinder and see what happens. So I hope that's whetted your appetite, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to see this. How many of you have made it to the end of this video? I sometimes ask this question. The ones that do are the ones that are really interested in all this. I will also be giving away, because these products will sit, once I've done all this testing, they're just going to expire. You know, they're at their best when they're fresh. If they contain siloxane, which is the cationic component, so typically if they're a spray and rinse capability, they contain cationic siloxane, but virtually all of them do contain cationic siloxane. Not all of them, but a lot of them. That cationic siloxane can lose a bit of its potency. Usually the raw ingredients will have a shelf life of 12 to 24 months. But after 24 months, they still work, but they lose a bit of their potency. And there's other materials as well that can expire. So the best thing for me to do is give all these away. So what I do is I put them in a box and I try and mix them up. So I don't want to give someone a whole box 1 month of just detailers, because they're going to be in the same boat as me. So I'll stagger it. And I give away a box a month in a monthly contest, which I hold on my Patreon page for tier 3 patrons, which costs around, I think it's $5 a month to be in. But typically when we do those tier 3 competitions, and sometimes the competition will be a question and you reply to the thread with your answer, sometimes only 10 people, even less. I've had competitions that just for some reason people haven't responded to. So you're up against like 3 or 4 other people. So your chance of winning the box of products is probably worth more than £200. It's quite high. So there you go. There's a little plug for the Patreon page. Or also on the Patreon page, we still have probably one of few channels. I need a hero to have a $1 tiering Patreon level, so you can sign up and pay $1 if you feel you've got value from the channel back that merits that level of support. And you set up, you go to the Patreon page, you register, and I think it does it through PayPal, but once a month it goes through and takes like the $1 from you. So at the end of the year it'll be like $12. I'm hoping that some of you think that we give you that value back with the cost saving of doing this test. So Patreon has been and continues to be, I talked about it before, a really important thing for my channel. It's a great community. We have active chat groups on there. I message a lot and have conversations with my patrons on a daily basis. I meet my patrons, which is great. I met Andy the other day for breakfast, one of my patrons who's local for me. I'm meeting Martin, another one of my patrons, goes tracking with me. So like, I get loads back from Patreon as well in terms of meeting some of you guys and making friendship and all that sort of stuff, which is cool. There we go. So details of the Patreon page in the description. What do you think of this lineup, guys? I know there's going to be, well, you didn't have this product, you didn't have this product. I welcome that. Stick it in the comments what you want to see. I do welcome it, but just understand that you can never get them all. You just can't. How many people have done this many? And we've done ones with 75 products before in the past, and like people are still like, you haven't got this one, you haven't got that one. It's like, no, I can't. It's too many. Okay, thanks for watching. Over and out. 54 minutes. Jesus. My phone's run out of battery. Doug.